Mathieu Nozieres.
Yeah.
Wonderful name.
Thank you so much.
And you look so good right now. You came in very stylish.
Okay, thank you so much, man. I appreciate it.
Yeah, I like people who come in with style because I wear very simple things most of the time. So it's a part of me that, yeah, I'm trying to expand on, but it won't happen. You're French.
Yeah.
You're an incredible painter. I'm so glad you're doing this. Thank you again for coming on the show. Your paintings, the first one I came across was the winged Arabian warrior who was on the winged horse, excuse me. And I was like, whoa, that's incredible. I was born in Syria but raised most of my life here in the States, and I just love the way the action and the movement takes place in a lot of your paintings, and there's emotion that goes with it. I find that incredible because I don't even know where I would even start to do something like that. And so for our listeners, and for me, I just want to know, how did you get started? First of all, at a young age, or was it later on in life?
Okay, so I draw since I can remember. Like, it's always been something I was super interested in it.
Yeah.
Even when in kindergarten, the teacher came to my, it's not, you don't call it a teacher back then, but how to say?
Yeah, we call it teacher here, but I know what you,
okay, in French it has another name. Okay, and the teacher told my parents, like, this guy is going to be an artist, believe me. And I was like so young, and my mom was like, okay, yeah. and I couldn't stop drawing because for me, it always allowed me to represent and give birth to what I have in the head, which I found is an incredible skill, possibility. You know, when you're playing with toys, you're imagining stories, but still the toy looks the way it looks. And as a kid, I understood that in drawing, you can make things look exactly the way you want. So this opened me like to total freedom. And since then, I always drew. And I discovered painting quite late because I started to study and work into comic books. And it's through an exchange in Romania, so Eastern Europe, that I discovered painting, and I loved it so much that since then I'm doing only painting.
Wow.
So let's say that from an early age drawing, then comic books when I was a teenager, and like first part of my studies, then painting, and since 10 years it's painting only.
What type of influences did you have that kind of cultivated you as an artist as from a young age, and then going into your teens? And how old are you right now?
33.
33.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
I'm 34. Cool. We're around the same age. Yeah. So what type of influences in the beginning where you could remember, like, oh, whoa, this artist is like, incredible, or something like that?
Yeah, so the first artist when I was really a little kid was the guy who drew Snoopy. I was living in Santa Barbara back then, and I remember I used to copy his characters but making my own stories. So that's the influence from my childhood, let's say. Yeah. After when I was a teenager and beginning of my 20s, I was really into Moebius. I don't know if you know him. Moebius, yeah, comic book artist.
Morbius. Oh.
Yeah. Love this guy. And then when I discovered painting, I was into Russian painters. So Repin, Isaac Levitan, what's his name? Valentin Serov. And then when I started to mix all these influences, as you've seen with the horse with the wings, so something narrative like in comics and something very traditional like in painting, I started to look at painters like Delacroix, other painters who would use also allegories, like Gustave Doré, who's he's making engraving, drawings, painting, and I started to be influenced by many things actually. But from Snoopy to Moebius to Repin, and in the end, what I'm doing now. So it's a very unexpected kind of path.
I love that because it broadens your horizons on what the possibilities can be. Especially nowadays, I feel we're so lucky because we can just go on the internet and look somebody up.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's, oh my gosh, as an artist, can you imagine somebody like Picasso having the internet and seeing what he would do?
He would go crazy.
Or Leonardo da Vinci, right? Like one of those really classical people. Or even like, I'm a big fan of dark paintings, like Dutch Impressionists. there's something about the lighting and the darkness.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
like a big mood thing for me. Anything with Dante's Inferno, or their depiction, these like abstract depictions on what they thought hell was. You know what I'm talking
Yeah,
about?
exactly.
Oh my gosh, those kind of things make my mind just go into these worlds and explore. And I love that feeling, because as an actor, that's what I feel when I'm performing.
Yeah, okay, really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the thing is, now we have so many tools, right? For instance, we can talk about this later. I'm using 3D to compose my scene first. So I'm doing 3D modeling on the computer.
Whoa.
Yeah.
How do you do that?
So the thing is, when before learning 3D, when I had to draw a scene that doesn't exist, which doesn't exist, like with this horse flying,
Yeah.
I would ask my little brother to pose, with like a frying pan in one hand for the shield, a broom for the sword, and then I would use that's the true. I would set up Playmobiles with a lamp to try to see things, from another angle, so I can have the perspective this way and still have the volumes. And at some point, I was like, this is driving me nuts. It's too complicated. And I started to learn 3D, Blender, ZBrush, and all these kind of things, so I can sculpt my scenes and have like a real reference with a real lighting. I mean, real lighting with cohesive lighting. And from this, I can start to paint a scene which doesn't exist. So I don't need to make this patchwork of like Playmobil's little brother with like, whatever. So yeah.
That's genius.
Yeah, and I thought that if Da Vinci and all these people back then had these tools, they would have been, they would have gone crazy. Like, whoa. Because I remember in Orsay, in France, in the museum, there was Meissonier. It's a French painter. He sculpted a horse rider with who was how to say, in the wind. So his clothes were like blowing, and he used a certain kind of glue, and the thing is so thin and refined. It looks like it's like magically beautiful.
Yeah.
And it's so small. And I'm like, this guy, how long did he spend for doing this figurine so that he can use it as a reference for his painting, right? And that's when I thought, like, if they would have had 3D, Photoshop, whatever, they would, yeah. You just go back with a laptop back then and they go like,
right?
Yeah.
Man.
So we're lucky. We're really lucky.
Very lucky.
Mm-hmm.
I've seen certain paintings, we're talking about details, where they're, maybe I don't know how tall, this is like 10 feet maybe.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, and they're like this tall. And
Yeah.
they're like this wide.
Mm-hmm.
And there's one at the New York Museum of Art. Oh my gosh, I'm trying to remember what it was. It's a very classically drawn painting. Oh my God, we're going to find it at some point, because it's like two lovers are embraced on a swing. And the light is coming from trees, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it's breaking through the trees, and part of them is being lit, and then some of them is not being lit, which already by itself, technically, that's so difficult to do and to get that correct. But then the woman is wearing this see-through dress that's playing with the light as well.
Mm-hmm.
Like, technically, for me, I'm like,
It's insane. Yeah.
like, how do you do that just from here? You're not even looking at something. They're doing it from here.
That's the thing. When you look at their masterpieces, it's like you're already wondering how the hell they could be so good. And second, you're thinking how the hell they could do this without having electricity, without having music playing, without having paint in tubes. As simple as that.
Oh, I didn't even think about that. Wait, how did they do paint then?
They brought pigment and they mix it with like binder themselves and all these kind of things.
Oh, I wouldn't have been a painter. If somebody told me that, I'd be like, no, I'm not doing that.
Yeah, see? Such a technical mess, right? To do all these kind of things. And they were able to do this. It's insane. It's crazy.
With the painting kit I have now, I have so many paint tubes.
Yeah.
I'm already like, well, where do I put the paint? Do I have to get put it on the palette and just mix it on there? I guess that's what I have to do. I'm excited, dude. This is gonna be awesome.
Yeah, painting is amazing. I mean, what is really cool is that, as I said in the beginning, you can do whatever you want with it, and basically you can do whatever you want with such simple tools, just like colored paste that you're mixing on a canvas, and this can open to anything, right? It can go to this painting you told me, it can go to another one, it can go to some Picasso style, it can go even to, line work, whatever. So with just this simple colored mixture, you can, it's so simple yet so complete in terms of possibilities. It's
Absolutely.
It's crazy, yeah.
The imagination, and then also the focus, the mental focus those past artists have had to have.
Yeah.
Those are the things that really get me like, wow, what I wish I could like in a bubble like see you, like what were they like in their focused state? That must have been magic to watch.
Yeah, we've been talking about this with my girlfriend like yesterday about I was telling her that sometimes I want to switch digital because it's faster, right? When I paint, I feel like I know what I have to do, but to do it, it's slow. Like I know this color has to go there with this value and this thing, but then I need to mix the paint. Then I need to clean the brush in between both mixtures, then blah, blah, blah. And we're talking about the focus. Traditional mediums are slow because you cannot speed up the process because, that's the process itself. And so you need focus. So it's a good thing because nowadays where our focus, is constantly challenged, to paint all day in a traditional way is really good to keep this focus and don't lose it. I mean, this ability to focus. On the other hand, sometimes you feel like the pace of everything around is so fast. You feel really slow, and you feel in this kind of outside of your era somehow because you're very calm. And it makes me think to the old masters. I think they even had less distractions, so their focus was even increased. Because I was thinking, how can you make so many works in a lifetime, and each work is so damn good, right? When you look at some painters like Géricault, he died early 30s.
Okay.
And this Medusa, this big work?
Can you pull that up, Mr. Payton?
Yeah.
Was it Géricault?
Géricault, yeah. The Medusa, it's a huge painting, but like huge in the Louvre with this kind of, how to say, a boat, when your boat sunk, you create some kind of things with the plank and you just
Oh,
step
yes.
in.
Yeah.
How do you call this?
A shit situation. No, I'm kidding. No, I know what you're talking about. Like a plank. Okay.
Yeah.
Is this it?
Yeah. And when you look at this, it's like, how the hell can you paint this? And with all the other crazy works he did, like,
wow,
like before he died in his early 30s, he made so many works, and I'm more like, what the hell? And actually, the story behind this work is crazy. He was so willing to focus and create this masterpiece that he shaved his hair, because back then it was not fashionable at all to have long hair. So he shaved so he's not tempted to go out. Oh. Then he had a workshop in a basement, right? So he couldn't see or be distracted by nothing, and he worked like a madman. And a friend of him who was working at the hospital was bringing him pieces of corpse so that he can use it as models.
Wow.
So this piece is a perfect example of being able to focus.
Yes.
Yeah.
Isn't that incredible? That unmitigated focus, what it can create and manifest is just, it's a little scary if you think about it. Because then put in the wrong direction, you've got a bad person. but put in the right direction, you've got something that moves people.
Yeah.
So I got to ask you, there's a lot of parallels between painting and acting. And something you said earlier was, the fast-paced nature of digital artwork. And TV work is kind of like very fast-paced acting. Like you don't have a lot of time with the material usually. And when you show up on set, then you're blocking the scene. You're seeing where you're gonna move, who you're gonna talk to, and then like, okay, let's change this. Okay, 10 minutes, we'll be ready. Okay, great, let's film it, shoot. So there's all this other acting work you have to do before you even go on set and be ready to like change or adapt to whatever.
Okay.
But with film, there's a lot more time. They take their time always more with it. And it feels more like the traditional way of creating, like acting, or the really traditional way is theater, because you have weeks of just practice. So I've got to ask you, for me, acting, the highest thing I can achieve with it, my highest objective, is that my artwork entertains people and enlightens people in a way that betters themselves and betters the people around them, and ultimately their paths lead to God, a union with the divine. For you, what is that top objective for creating a painting?
I think it's more of a, I don't think if I can say I have a real goal. I have more of I tend to wait, I'm organizing my thoughts.
Oh, that's okay.
I'd like my work to make the people think and enter a process of reflection, right? I don't know where I exactly want to lead them, because everyone has his own direction, his own hopes and objectives, let's say.
Yeah.
But I'd like my work to make them reflect about who they are, what are they doing, who surrounds them, what the other are also doing, and have my painting like a room where they can sit with themselves and think about all this.
Wow.
Right?
I dig that. Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, to try to open a window towards themselves, which is weird because I am painting work. So if I'm directing my own image, I should, take the person somewhere and say, look, I'm going to lead you somewhere. But the way I compose is always, it's always having a little room for mystery in my work. And this room for mystery is actually a place where everyone can project his or her or his imagination and his thoughts or her thoughts. If I'm doing everything very descriptive, then I feel I'm leading too much the viewer. And who am I to lead someone, right? I better lead myself and hopefully help the other to lead themselves too. So that's the way I see things.
I love that.
Okay.
Mr.
Cool.
Payton, can you pull up one of Matthew's, pull up his Instagram, and I'd like to pull up the painting of the warrior on the winged horse, if you don't mind, and I'd like to ask you some questions about it.
Let me know when you see
Yeah,
it.
it's down. It's down.
Yeah, it's down a little further. Down. All this is bullshit. No, I'm kidding. up. Oh, yeah, there, right there. Okay. So, take me, if you don't mind, take me through that aspect of that balance of mystery versus opening the window, if you don't mind.
So where I want to be descriptive is I want you guys to understand that you're in the desert, right? That there are people dressed as Arabic. So the scene is located in some kind of oriental country. So on this, I don't leave the viewer any choice. It's like, this is the way it is, right? But then I'm going to add this figure on a winged horse. And where I leave mystery is this guy good or bad? What happened before? What will happen afterward? Why is this guy hurt? Why is this guy on the winged horse but he doesn't have any weapon while all the others have some? And this is up to your imagination, and that's where I leave the space for the viewer to enter in his in himself,
right.
To just start working with his imagination. So for me, a painting is a chance to make to make the viewer become active also, and not just passive staring at your work.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
So yeah, that's what I could say.
That's I love that.
And it's a balance. You need to find a balance between too much mystery and not enough, right? Because if you have too much mystery, people are going to be like, what the hell's going on? I don't understand anything. And they're going to move to the other painting.
Right.
And if it's too descriptive, they're going to be like, yeah, it's cool, but, it's just nice, and that's it. So when you compose, that's the tricky moment where you really need to have a good balance, and your image will work like a big part of the success of an image will be thanks to the composition. So that's the step you don't want to skip.
Bro, I'm so excited right now because this is like firing up my artist soul. talking about this, I just found another parallel that I didn't even realize just till now with acting. You know that mystery you're talking about? I have actor secrets.
Okay.
That I don't tell anybody. I might tell the director, but it's just for me. And so that part of the mystery is what I try to put in my roles as well.
Okay.
Because I see other actors do it, and I'm like, oh, this is you did this thing with your what's his name? Ryan Gosling did this. Whenever he does this thing in scenes when he's with the love of his life, he won't just look at her eyes. He'll look at her whole face. He'll look at her nose, her mouth. And I'm like, oh, I like that. Why is he doing that? Like, why is he looking at her mouth right there? So it's the little things like that you're right. The mystery element it's what pulls people in.
Exactly. If the person it's like if you're playing whatever. Yeah. Soccer, basketball, whatever. If the person who's watching the game, if you tell him like you want to play, he's gonna be way more into what's going on than if you just leave him on the side watching what's. So that's the thing. Inviting someone is always gonna get the person excited. Yeah. So that's the thing, and in acting it's the same, and in music is the same. Yeah. It's always about finding a balance so that the listener, is pulled in the piece.
Absolutely. Yeah. Mr. Payton, can we exit out of this and actually go up to one of his newer works, if you don't mind? You have a dragon in this. Where's this inspiration coming from?
So the dragon, it's a little bit down.
Down.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. There's two right here, which I like. Or three. Yeah. So let's do this one right here, if you don't mind.
Okay. So dragons, it all started with Trivium, right? The metal band. They commissioned me the artwork for their new album, In the Court of the Dragon. And I never painted a dragon before, and Matt Effie, the frontman, goes like, okay, our album is going to be named In the Court of the Dragon, so we want a big dragon in an arena. And that's all they told me. So I said, okay, I can work with that. And to paint a dragon, I was painting horses before, winged, things and stuff. And the figure of the dragon happened in the painting for Trivium. And then I thought it's a cool symbol. It's a lot of strength, yet it's very delicate and thin. So I started to incorporate more dragons in my paintings. And the challenge is that I try to make something oriental with dragons, and dragons doesn't exist in the oriental culture. It's something Asian, right? But in the Arabic culture.
Arabic culture.
Yeah. So you have this type of dragons who are like, with the knights and stuff, like with feet and like Dungeon and Dragon. But I'm more into, Asian dragons. I found they're cooler because, they have this body which curves and stuff. So I try to find a way to mix a symbol and a creature with another aesthetic, which is Arabic. Yeah. And it ends up like this.
Let's go to that next one, the one in the arena. By the way, the lighting on that one is so intense. It's so sharp. I like that. This is that action and movement that I love when I see paintings, especially like in a museum or an art gallery, because it's like a still frame from a movie, and I'm like, oh, okay, like immediately I get pulled to the center, then the dragon in the back, and then I start seeing like what the chaos has caused. You see what I mean? And then I'm like, in my mind, I go, oh, these people are cheering. So this is is the dragon a normal thing that comes in and like kills the people? Like, the imagination starts to grow. The story starts to grow.
Yeah, the challenge with this piece is that because it's going to be on a record, it needs to be very understandable, right? And that's why I created this composition in X, right? So everything leads towards the center, where you have the most important information, which is there's a warrior fighting a dragon. And if your brain understands this, then you understand the whole picture. And after you can take time, to just wander around and all the details. So that was the trick, so that when it's printed on a CD or a record, even though from far, you get what's going on. Because if the viewer doesn't get what's going on, he's not going to stop at your image. And the same, I use this mystery that you pointed with the people cheering behind and this big dragon, and your mind is processing like what's really happening.
Yeah.
I
dig it. Now that to me it's a real dragon, but that's not a statue, is it?
It's not a statue.
Yeah. I just wanted to make sure.
Some people thought that it's a statue because Trivium asked me they wanted a gold dragon. So gold is a material, right? And the material on anything would make it look like a statue. So it could be either way, because as a statue, it also opens another potential door to interpretation. But in my mind, I painted just like a big, nasty golden dragon, fighting.
Yeah, no, and that shows to your skill, because you didn't just paint it all gold. There's like this, the color of the, like it's like a greenish, bluish, grayish hue, and there's like movement with it too. Like it's like that's a crazy statue for just a dragon. You know what I mean? No, very well done, man. Very well done.
Thanks a lot. That's a big piece. It's like, I don't know how to translate this in inches, but it's like 1.50 meters. It's like a big square. 1.50
meters.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, they wanted the piece to be displayed in the hangar, their new headquarters,
awesome.
Like recording studios.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure I've listened to Trivium before.
Trivium. Sure, it's a very well established band. Yeah.
Metal. Yeah. I've listened to them before. They're probably not on my playlist, but I'm definitely come across them.
Yeah, the fun thing is that I didn't really listen to metal first.
Yeah.
And people always think that when I painted this work, I was listening like metal like crazy, but I actually listened to very stupid French pop music from the 80s.
Oh no.
Yeah, I was dancing like this while painting because the deadlines were so tight and I was so under pressure that I needed somehow to just relax, and I've put these very stupid songs, summer songs to cheer you up, and I was just painting like a madman from like day night with this music in the back.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's
hilarious.
That's the truth. I didn't listen metal while painting it.
Do you still listen to 80s French pop music?
Only when I'm under pressure. Under pressure.
What do you like to listen to?
Oh my God, it's French people like.
Yeah, you make it sound like I don't know what French people music sounds like.
Où sont passés les beatniks, Vita vinaigrette? You don't know that, but yeah. It's very, very dumb.
You say vinaigrette?
Vinaigrette, yeah.
Okay, like vinaigrette?
Yeah, it's called Leave Your Vinaigrette. Only with the title you get the,
I love it, man. Do you listen to vinaigrette while you paint?
Yeah. Just puts me in a good mood.
That's good. Hey, man, if it puts you in a good mood, that's what
80s
counts.
music, for working hard, I feel 80s music, it's always a good pick.
Oh, you know what song I gotta let him listen to?
What?
I Still Believe. We're gonna get demonetized, so no, we're not gonna listen to it on air. I'll show it to you after the show.
Okay.
Yeah. YouTube's so stupid. We can't even play a little bit of a song before they like demonetizes us.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Anyway, that's just me complaining about that. What do you think about since everything's going really digital?
Mm-hmm.
I've been getting into arguments with my brother about NFTs.
Okay.
I'd love to share with you my problem that I have with them.
Okay.
I think they're a great way to make money,
and
that's awesome for artists and for sellers and buyers. I don't have a problem with that. I really don't. However, if I were given the choice of buying an original NFT versus an original painting, I'm going with painting for me personally, because there's something about the paint, like holding it, seeing it, like being there. Does that make sense? Like I feel like the soul is there.
Yeah.
And with an NFT, it's like, I hate to say it, like, oh, I screenshot it and then I still get the same feeling. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it makes total sense. And just a second. Actually, can we put the volume a little down?
Oh yeah, of course.
Yeah, just a little bit.
Yeah. I'm talking too loud. I get too excited. That's
no. It's just the.
Are the headphones?
Yeah, perfect. Okay.
Great.
Right there?
Yeah.
Okay.
Say blah blah blah.
Blah blah blah.
Perfect.
Great. Vinaigrette.
Yeah, it's funny you're talking about this because we talked about it yesterday too with my girlfriend who's into NFTs. I mean, she's an artist, but she's also doing NFTs, and we talked about it with a collector that we met a few days ago too that was telling the same.
Yes.
Like, it's better to own a real piece. So this NFT thing, it's a really interesting topic because it opens a lot of doors for digital artists. But as a fine art painter, at first I didn't know what to do with this. I said it's not for me anyway. I'm painting real pieces. And then my girlfriend, who is really good for how to say, seeking new path, let's say, told me like, the reproduction you do of your work, the picture, it's also something, even though it's digital. I mean, it's a JPEG, but it's something that is here. And she said you can sell this as the original reproduction of your art piece. And I go like, yeah, but who's gonna be interested in this, right? And she says like, no, a lot of people will be interested in this because it's another market where people see things in a different way. And I found this really interesting that the digital world can develop a market, because otherwise you're a digital artist, you're just doing something, and then what happens? You're just doing your original work is already looking like a copy because it's it's a file that can be duplicated.
Right.
So that's a great way for them to have ownership and have to be paid for the work. And for fine artists like us, it's also interesting because the reproduction of your work can also make some money and interest people for collecting it. And I could also use my original piece in photo and then rework some things or change designs on Photoshop or whatever. So it's also interesting for creating or experimenting on the base of a traditional reproduction.
Yeah.
So I find the NFT interesting, but I understand your point of view. If I would have to buy something with my money from my home, I'd probably go for something real, right? Because I'm more interested of having like a physical painting on the wall rather than a screen just playing some images, right? But I'm gonna dig this NFT thing too in the upcoming month. Yeah.
Hey, when you do, I'm a supporter.
Okay.
I'll probably, just because I like you, I like your work, and I'm all about the digital artists also finding ownership in their work. I think that's important.
Yeah.
I don't want that to be misconstrued. And again, it's me and my brother. We're just on two opposite sides. I'm like, cool. Like, if you can make money and go like buy, sell stuff, and that's awesome. But it's a personal thing where I have a painting. I bought one painting, and it has such deep meaning to me. And every time I see it or I look at it, those feelings come up. And I don't think I would gain that same feeling if I just had it on my computer.
Yeah, I totally get it.
Yeah,
I totally get it. And actually, you as an actor, you could also do NFTs. NFT can be anything, because we're talking here about painting, but it can be a short video clip. It can be whatever. It could be a GIF. It can be.
Yeah.
So NFT, I don't really understand fully the thing yet.
Yeah.
But it's basically a lot of possibilities. Yet I prefer to own, as you said, Delacroix painting in my living room.
Yeah. Delacroix.
Which I have in print because I can't afford the original. So, anyways.
That's fine. How much? The original must go for a lot, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah. You're like, yeah. I'm not gonna even say the number. What's some of your favorite museums you've gotten to go to?
Okay, Orsay is my fav. Then second is Louvre.
Orsay?
Orsay Museum, Paris. Orsay.
Okay.
Orsay. ORSA.
Did I go to that one? I know I went to the Louvre.
It's right across the Seine River on the other side of the Louvre, where all the Impressionists are, Van Gogh and so on.
Yes.
Even though I'm not really into this style, but the museum is so beautiful, and they have a lot of like Orientalist, 19th century stuff, early 20th century.
Yeah.
Yeah, so these two museums are probably my fav. They happen to be in France, so I'm not here to say like we're the best, but
the Louvre is amazing. I've been to the Louvre, and
amazing,
that's one of the ones you have to go to, in my opinion.
Yeah, it's amazing. Louvre, it's so big. Like one day I wanted to tour it from A to Z, and after the first day I was still stuck at the Egyptian side. It's too big. You need like I don't know how many weeks to explore everything.
Bro,
it's crazy.
I don't know even how you process that, because I've been in New York flying back and forth, and I went to the Met, which is this great museum over there. I'm seeing just like the top floor of paintings, and I'm like overwhelmed. I feel like my mind is okay. That's it. You can't process any more. Like, how much more mental
Totally agree.
bandwidth do you want to take up here? And I start like losing the effect with certain paintings. I'm like, I wish I would have seen this earlier. I'd be more energetic to see.
Yeah, that's exactly the thing. I felt so frustrated also sometimes visiting the museums and looking with a lot of focus each painting, even paintings I don't really care about. And then when you arrive in front of the masterpiece you were like, you wanted to go to, and you just don't have any more bandwidth, as they say, and you just look at it like, yeah, and that's the thing. And since then, I'm always walking in museums with a plan. I'm like, I want to see this.
Smart.
Yeah, so I just walk and I close my eyes, like a horse, like this. Yeah. I just walk, and I end up in front of the piece, and then I sit for like an hour taking notes, looking back and forth, and the other piece. Otherwise, it's like eating. Your mind is full, and you just can't add anything anymore.
Yeah, there's sculptures that I look at, and that is something I don't. That's a whole different thing where. One mistake. That's it. Right. That to me, or the nose, it's like, oh, cool. I spent the last 6 months working on this and it's gone.
Yeah.
That's why when I see I think it's Michelangelo. He did where the Virgin Mary's holding Jesus.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's insane.
Get out of town. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? Back then, too, like.
Yeah, and the crazy thing is when you think of the very beginning, the guy basically has a big cube of marble, a hammer, and this kind of thing. And it's like, okay, just do it. And you're like, what? So that thing, painting impresses me, but I think sculptures impresses me even more because it's really, a paintbrush, it can be thin. How the hell do you do details like this? It's so weird.
Maybe little.
Yeah, very little, but and then you polish and and the thing is, with painting, you're creating an illusion, right, on the canvas. So you do the drawing, you do whatever. But with sculpture, you cannot sketch because it's already in 4 dimension, right? So
4 dimensions.
I mean,
3,
maybe 3.
3.
Top, down is like.
Yes. 3.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So is that 4 or 3?
That's 3.
3.
The 4th dimension, we don't exist in. So I just wanted to clarify.
The 5th dimension.
Okay, Matthew, drinking too much vinaigrette.
So in the 3rd dimension, it's like your mind has to project the final piece because you cannot, sketching in 2D is okay, but you cannot sketch in 3D. So the guy has to work. Thinking of what's going on everywhere, and I don't know, it's insane mental ability.
And also that's something I wanted to bring up earlier. It's not just a mental ability, it's a physical. Same with painting. There's a physical technique that has to be translated into your canvas. It's always remarkable to me when someone can hone that over the years and years. I got to tell you one kind of art, and I'd love to get your opinion about it, that drives me crazy. And it's a lot of modern art, and more specifically, performance art.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Do you know this, I think he's Swedish or Norwegian or something, where he'll have balloons, and then he'll have like a knife taped to his head, and then he'll just go... And that's the thing. And he has millions of... And that's his art. What do you think about that?
So that's the moment where I try to not be too rude.
Okay, it's okay, man.
Not a big fan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, good. I'm so happy you said that.
Yeah.
I'm so happy you said. You don't understand because I'll see, and I again a painting like the Medusa painting, right?
Mm-hmm.
We'll see that, and then I compare it to that, and I'm like, I'm sorry, I can't justify that.
Yeah, I mean,
what?
Do you remember his name?
If you just Google it, he'll come up.
Okay.
Yeah, and then because I want to show him some videos just to make my blood pressure rise a little bit. So,
the thing is, maybe the action of breaking a balloon with a knife, stick on your forehead or whatever, can be cool and interesting. When you call it art and you put this on the market and it makes money, and fame and whatever, I'm more like, what?
Yeah.
Right. That thing. The same with the banana tape.
Yeah.
I find it really funny. Like, I mean, it's funny to do this in an art fair. Or an art show.
Yeah.
It's cool, but when the banana is sold like for I don't know how much, you're like, huh?
You know, I had arguments with people about this. They're like, well, it invokes a certain emotion in you, so it is art. And so that makes me even angrier because they said that, right? But then I go, okay, you know what? Fine. It's art. But I don't respect it. That's just my like I don't respect him as a person. I just don't respect the art because I see what real technical ability and years of training service. And then this is the gentleman. And by the way, if I were to talk to him, I wouldn't be disrespectful. I'll just be like, hey man, I don't think what you're doing. Yeah. Your face. Like, yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Okay. So, yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't like to.
I don't want you. Don't have to badmouth anybody.
Yeah.
I'm not looking for that.
Because I always feel like we're stupid for someone else. So for me, this is stupid. But I feel like I might also do stupid things for some. Maybe for him when he sees my work, he goes like, you know.
Oh my God! If he did that, I think I'd scream. So, but that's fine.
So, but you know, it's this eternal question about.
Yeah, man. No. Screw it. No. You know what? You can be nice. I'm not gonna be nice. That's not art. That's not. Yeah. No. I'll be the mean guy on this.
Yeah.
I'll be on the. I'll take the heat. I'll take the heat.
I wonder how the show is named. Banana backpack. Okay. So
we're struggling to get 100,000 views. This guy's just like breaking in just money just from doing stuff like that. That's the world we live in, though. There's like lots of people like this.
The thing with contemporary art, I worked in contemporary art for nearly 6 years before shifting to fine art. So I know this world like way too much. And basically, you know, when I was into contemporary art, people tried to discourage me to do figurative painting because they said like, you're counting stories, it's too descriptive, it's too oriented towards the past and so on. And they were always trying to push me towards conceptual thing. And at some point I got like really mad. I said, you know what, I'm done with you guys. It's just not me. So I started to find other markets, and that's when I discovered fine art.
Yeah.
And I totally switched to this market. But in their mind, what is interesting, that's the word they use, interesting, right? They don't say it's beautiful or it's so cool or, you know, it's interesting. That's the thing. So what is interesting for them is when the thing is unseen, when the thing is haven't been done before. But it's like if you're searching for a language that doesn't exist, so you end up doing like, you know, and people are like, oh, we like it, we never heard it, but it just doesn't mean anything, right?
Right.
So that's the thing with contemporary art. They're obsessed with finding things that has never been done before, without understanding that it's more about, in my opinion, it's more about using a language which exists, and what matters is what you say with this language. Correct?
Yes.
So that's the way I see things. But once again, it's me, and I have lots of friends who are into contemporary art and crazy stuff like this, and they're my friend, and I see them working hard also. So I cannot say contemporary art is a scam, but it's not my thing.
Yeah.
That's the politically correct way to say things on the. Yeah.
I think I won't be politically correct about it since I'm not in the contemporary art world. But if you nailed it on the head, there has to be deep meaning. I like art that has meaning. There's like deep thought that goes into it. There's technical ability that goes into it. There's time that goes into it. There's the artist's soul that goes onto the painting as well, I believe. Because that's from your mind. It's not just from the surface mind. It's not just the simple mind. It's the more intuitive mind. It's the deep mind. That's from your mind. That painting that you did is there. I think we take that for granted sometimes. The the reality of that is so mind-blowing to me.
Yeah, contemporary art also totally buried something is the technical aspect of art. Meaning that to me, the process of painting and the process of getting better technically will allow me, as you said, to represent exactly what represent in the most accurate way what I have in mind. So the better is my technique, it's like the better is my vocabulary, right? And this contemporary art doesn't care about the technique. The image is just a support of a concept. That's why there is this long, text near each piece, because without the text, what you see doesn't mean anything. So it's a whole different approach. But in our approach, in fine art, the technical aspect is really important. So because it allows you to express yourself in a very clear and clean way. I don't even know if I'm answering your question.
No, you are.
Just good.
No, this is the show, by the way. We're just going off on things. No, you did though. Yeah.
And
yeah. No, I was gonna say there is one contemporary artist, and I don't even know if you would consider him contemporary. Banksy.
Yeah, street artist.
Yeah. It's not just random graffiti or random acts of vandalism. There's like clever, deep meaning with the little things he posts and the graffiti art, his political work, the stuff that's going on in Palestine, and then also like in, especially in Britain when he first was coming out. I was in that. Oh, that's where I went to study theater in London for a semester in the summer. And that's when Banksy started becoming super popular. And one of his biggest things was, the CCTVs, like the security systems. That was one of his main things. Like, you're always being watched. It's like a prison. And I was like, and I got this like Banksy book of all his like first works out on the street. And I just like Banksy. I thought
Banksy is really cool. Really, I mean, he's a master in the in telling stories with an image, and that's another thing. When you tell the story through your painting, it captivates people. The storytelling is very important in how appealing an image will look in the end and will be. And in contemporary art, their vocabulary is so niche and so specific that someone who's not into it doesn't understand anything. And if you don't understand anything, it's just another way that you're not understanding the story, what's going on. And I think that's the power of figurative art, and whether it's street art, whether it's fine art, whether it's just, I don't know, comics or whatever, is that an image will always be warm and be welcoming to a viewer, rather than just conceptual art. If you have like a blank painting on the wall, it's gonna be less easy to enter the story than if you're having images.
Right.
So I understand why you like Banksy, because he's figurative, mostly figurative. So
yeah. There's a hotel, an art gallery hotel he opened. Did you hear about that? Like the Disney thing? Check it out.
Isn't it in Israel?
Yeah.
Yeah, heard about it. Yeah.
So dark.
Yeah.
It's so dark and you're like, whoa.
Yeah, it's crazy. Right in front of the wall, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
It's
he's really politically engaged, yeah.
Yeah. I'm not trying to get political, but when you see the stuff that's going on over there, it's it's kind of hard to turn an eye or turn a blind eye.
I agree.
Totally
agree.
It really, as I'm getting older, and I don't know if you feel like this as you're getting older with your art and you're delving deeper into your craft. This is going to come out really cheesy, but it's the truth, honestly, of what I'm feeling. There's so much suffering out in the world, and it's just overwhelming sometimes when you start thinking about it. Do you ever feel like when you're like thinking about a story or a painting, do those like dark thoughts ever come to you about the reality of the world we live in?
Yeah, especially as a painter, because sometimes you feel I could be more useful than just being locked up in a studio painting images, right? I could just, take a backpack and go, I don't know, build bridges in Africa, help people or whatever. Do something, And for many years, I had this burden, feeling that what I'm doing it's not, how to say, doesn't help practically people. Like I have the wish to be useful, and I'm just doing images. And I came to my mom one day and said, like, look, mom, something, is worrying me. I spend like my days painting and I feel I could be more useful. And she goes like, you know what? Being useful in ideas is as important as being useful physically. And that's the thing. When I think back from when I was a kid to now, so many images, so many quotes, so many songs, whatever, totally changed my mind, made me rethink so many things. So in the end, when I feel this burden, that when I feel sad about what's going on around, I usually solve my emotion by thinking that what I'm doing hopefully will help at least one person there feeling better. Because otherwise I would just enroll into politics, into I don't know what kind of organization or whatever, to really try to change things like, physically like this.
Yeah. I love that, man.
Yeah.
Tell your mom thank you.
That's what I told her. I said thanks, because I felt way lighter after, because this was really a concern for me when I was painting. I was feeling a bit guilty sometimes.
I feel guilty a lot.
Yeah.
So, but that actually makes me feel a lot better.
So see, helping through the world of ideas.
Yes. Yep. Keep going. Yeah. All right. Man, I'm gonna let that sit a little bit, because I think if you're very true to your craft, and you're very true, and you work hard at your craft, I think that needs to be heard to the people out there, especially in the beginning phases of what they're doing. If they want to go into the art field, acting, painting, sculpting, music. Music is so competitive. My brother is a musician, and he's a music producer. He's actually on tour right now. He's tour managing this band called Sports, and we've talked about stuff like that before. I think, as long as you're not a lazy artist, I think that's what's important.
Yeah, for the young artists who want to start, if they choose things like a style like fine art, what can be frustrating is that it's a style which needs many years before being mastered. And during these years, you're basically not getting contracts or exhibitions or whatever, because you're not good enough yet. But you need to, hold fast till the moment where all this craft has been recorded in your mind, and your painting looks good enough to be professionally exhibited. In other styles like contemporary art, you can probably start faster, because it's all about having an idea, and you don't need to craft it as much as in fine art. But for fine artists who want to start, don't give up, because it's a style that will need time to develop. If your work doesn't look good straightforward, it doesn't mean you're not made for this or you're not good enough. It just means that it's a medium that is slow. Like painting in fine art, it's a marathon, it's not a sprint. It's going to take you a long time. And in so many moments of my career, I wanted to quit, thinking like I'm not good enough. It's like I'm done with this. And I hold it fast, and after, it's like steps. When at some point the step is climbed, you realize that it wasn't about me and my abilities. It's just that you cannot go faster than the medium itself. It's something that it's a classical major, and anything classical is really long to master.
I think that's in most crafts, in all honesty. Time is a big issue, and the show will continue on. If you're listening on Adobe Radio, we got to tune out live, but the full episode is available tomorrow morning on YouTube and Spotify and Apple Podcasts. Thanks for tuning in live. Make sure you give Mathieu a follow. It's Mathieu Nozieres on Instagram. Yeah. And make sure you buy his NFTs before they're worth millions of dollars. Exactly. Or the real paintings, And yeah, we'll see you guys tomorrow. Make sure you tweet at us. What was I saying? Sorry, we got to take this break at 55 minutes, and always throws me off when I say that thing. That's just the world. Oh, time. Yes, thank you. As an actor in college, my acting teacher, Lisa Wilson, who I love so much, she said, you got to go through life experiences before you become a good actor. It's hard to act like the love of your life died on stage if you haven't had anyone in your family members die that you loved.
Oh, okay.
Because you haven't experienced that. And you have to go through those life experiences, the happiness, the sadness, the anger, the frustration, the anxiety, the feeling like your world is collapsing. And as an actor, you have to store that in your memory bank and not forget it. You actually have to deal with it. Relationships, breakups, divorces, marriages, kids, everything, pet dying, everything, the extremes of human emotion, so that when you encounter a role that calls for it, you go, oh yeah, I know what that's like. I know what a person would normally act like in a situation like that. So it's the same thing. This time that we have is such a critical part of our journey as craftsmen. True. And we have to work hard in between those major milestones, or otherwise we won't be ready for those moments.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It's all about, I think, being patient is what in the end will make someone, arrive to his goal or not. It's the more I work, the more I grow, the more I understand it's all about patience. About being patient. I had this roommate when I was living in Belgium. He was living upstairs and I was having my studio downstairs. And when I'm working and it doesn't go the way I want, I usually start to swear and I become very pissed.
Yeah. In French?
Yeah, in French. And he was up. He was hearing like, nique ta mère, la putain de ta race, et tout. Like when I'm swearing in French, right?
I love, by the way, can I just say, I love the French language, the way it sounds.
Really?
It's probably one of the coolest language out there. Okay. So the way you cursed is just perfect.
Okay.
Yeah.
And once we meet in the staircase and I go like, man, I'm sorry, I'm new here. I hope I don't disturb when I become angry at my work.
Yeah.
And he goes like, oh, no, don't worry. It makes me laugh. I'm like, oh, Matthew is creating, And and he goes like, but you know what? When I'm also pissed with my work because it doesn't go the way I want, I'm just thinking, you know what? Sooner or later, I'll get you. And then it just, as simple as that, I felt like, you're so right. So now when the work doesn't go well, I just look at my painting and go like, you know what? At some point, I'll get you.
Your roommate came up with this?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm going to thank him. Thank you to Matthew's old roommate. And I'm going to thank you for sharing that.
Yeah. It's like, no matter what, I'll win in the end.
Dude, you don't know how much I love that attitude. I love, because it shifts your brain.
Yeah.
It shifts your perspective on the problem from like the caveman mentality, right?
Yeah.
To, okay, I'll play this game with you.
Yeah, exactly. And
making it fun a little bit.
Yeah, and it totally changed my dynamic. And now I'm more relaxed and it works better. Because when you're getting angry, what you're doing is even worse. So
we're gonna have to try that with self-tapes. I like that a lot. I knew I would like you, Matthew. I had a feeling. And I'm really glad we got to meet together, man.
Yeah,
seriously.
Same, man. Really cool.
Yeah, from your artwork, I had this sixth sense like, oh, this guy's legit. And then us chatting, you seemed like a normal human being. There's always that concern you show up and you're just a crazy person. That's happened one time.
Really?
Yeah. It was.
What happened?
The ego on the person was very big.
Oh, okay.
Very big. And I was like, oh, this is very off-putting. I can't wait to be done with this. Yeah.
Yeah, but what is cool, is the fact that you're an actor, right? And I am a painter, and we talk about art. The same when I was with a Trivium guitarist. He's a musician. I'm a painter. We're talking about art. So when people are open-minded enough that they can be interested in people from other majors, that's where the fun really is, because I'm surrounded with painters, you're surrounded with actors, he's surrounded with musicians. But what if, we surround ourselves with other creatives, but with different mediums, and it's fun because each time we discuss with someone from another major, it ends up that we're talking basically about the same thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
The thing I have, like the concerns I face in arts, you face them in acting, and the way around. So it's like, we're all branched, but the trunk is just the same.
Yes.
So that's something I really like about you and your show, is that you're not interviewing only people from your field, and that makes it really cool.
Yeah, man. That's what this whole show is about. I just want to have awesome conversations with just awesome people.
Mm-hmm.
Have you heard of the book of 5 Rings by Musashi?
No.
He
Yes, Miyamoto Musashi.
Yeah.
Traité des 5 roues. I read it. The Japanese sword guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
60 life and death duels. He won them all since the age of 13.
Yeah.
So in the book of Air, I think it's the final book.
Mm-hmm.
The book of Air, I forget which book it was. Anyway, he talks about how it's important to learn pottery, calligraphy.
Yes. This book is so good.
Because it all parallels.
Mm-hmm.
You'll find these universal wisdoms. And you'll notice when you do that, the more crafts you learn about, you'll pick up other crafts a lot quicker, and then your primary one will grow even to new lengths.
Exactly.
And so that's great that you're doing it naturally too, with talking with other artists.
Yeah, I mean, when I was living in China, I met a guy who was a musician, professional musician, guitar player.
Yeah.
Right, and we play guitar together, and he's playing rhythm, and he goes like, okay, play a solo. So I start to play a solo, and his rhythm riff, was very technical, very a lot of speed and stuff. And I start to do a solo like, and he goes like, wait, stop. He says, if I'm doing something complex, you need to do something simple. Look, if the rhythm is complex, the solo has to be simple. And if the solo is complex, the rhythm has to be simple. And this, I said, this totally applies to painting. If you have something very busy and very detailed, then what's around has to be very empty. And if you have something very crowded, then the thing has to be very simple, right? So see, that's when music can teach you things in painting, and the way around.
My actor brain is working now. I've never thought of how I could apply that to that's true what you're saying, because I hear it all the time.
Yeah, so this helped me also a lot in my work.
Whoa.
With color, you have like if you want a color to look really busy, really like buzzing, everything around needs to be very neutral, very tuned down.
Ooh.
So this rule of contrast is key.
I like that. I want to see. I have a self-tape to do tomorrow, like an audition.
Okay.
I have to tape myself. I'm going to remember that, actually.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to see how I can apply that to the scene. Maybe if the scene is very... Well, all scenes are... Well, no, that's not true. Not all scenes are complex. Sometimes co-stars, like if you have one line, that's very simple. You're just trying to further along the story. We'll talk about this later. They're actors as well. So
okay.
I need to hear it from other actors. Oh, man, you got my mind working now. Okay, I'll put that to the side. We'll continue talking. Oh, this is great, man. You skateboard, too. I saw you just posted something today.
Yeah, I used to skateboard a lot when I was a teenager, and then I discovered music, so I stopped skateboarding and I did music. But my brother is semi-pro in skateboarding.
Oh.
Yeah, so skateboarding always stayed in the family, and he was here in the Bay Area with me and my family to skate with some brands from San Francisco.
Yeah.
And I felt like, why not start skating again? And then I arrived in LA. We're walking with my girlfriend in the streets. Then it happened to walk near a skate shop.
Yeah.
And I go like, I'm gonna buy a skateboard. And so now I'm freshly back on the skateboard, so I'm a little rusted. Like the movements are not so smooth, but I enjoy it so much.
Oh, dude, you were great. If that's you rusty, I want to see you good.
It's all about the fun. Yeah, I was eating a burger with Clive Dixon the other day. So professional skateboarder, really, really good. He's an amazing skateboarder, and he tells me, "Oh, you're also skating," and I go like, "No, I'm just rolling," and he goes like, "But that's as long as you're having fun, that's what it's all about, right? And so I took it this way. Just enjoying skating again. It just feels so good.
Yeah. I can't do it. My brother's skateboard.
Really?
They used to skateboard.
Cool.
But yeah,
I'm sure you can. My girlfriend is learning now. She's learning fast. The same. She was like, I can't do it, but she also got herself a board.
Yeah.
And she's doing pretty good. So I'm sure you can skate.
Maybe if I had practice, we'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see. I'd rather surfboard. I want to learn how to surf. Since I'm landing on the West Coast.
That's amazing too.
Yeah. I need to get a real teacher this time before I decide to again go out into the ocean. My ego got the better half of me. I'm like, yeah, I'll just get on a surfboard. I'll just jump on. A wave hit me, and as soon as I got up to catch my breath, another one hit me, and I felt like I was drowning, and I couldn't get to the top. And then another one hit me, and I finally got to the shore, and I'm like, and my friends are just having a good time, and I'm like, I almost died, and nobody even noticed, and so I just went in, and I said, and I'm like, cool. They're like, how was it? I'm like, I'm done. I'm done for the day. I'm just gonna sit here.
Well, yeah, surfing. It's I surfed once in Santa Barbara.
Yeah.
And the teacher was here, so on small waves, he just pushes you so you get the right speed.
Right.
And you feel like, okay, I'm already quite comfortable with this. And then he leaves. It's like, okay, now have fun. And we ended up just being stuck like this because you cannot get you need to understand the right distance with the shore and the wave, so you catch it at the right time. And it's too complicated. I thought I better just push a board with 4 wheels. It's just it's just easier.
Yeah. I think when you go into something and you don't respect it, that's where I felt like the ocean was like, okay, we'll teach this guy a little.
But maybe you
respect.
went with big waves, no?
Yeah, I was stupid. They were kind of.
I started with waves like this. If you went like with crazy things.
Yeah, I'm an idiot like that. I'm like, let's just go all the way. Let's see what happens. Yeah. So, you're staying here in LA till when? You have a gallery, right? No?
I have a gallery, an exhibition in New York in May.
Oh.
But actually, I came here to settle. I have the permanent citizenship green card finally.
Yes. Congrats.
So finally 2 years, man, of process.
Wow, that's awesome.
Yeah, I mean 2 years ago the USCIS go like, you qualified. I'm like, yes. And then Trump says immigration ban. I'm like, ugh. And then after it goes like COVID, I'm like, oh.
Yeah.
And then 2 years went by, and finally everything starts again, and the immigration got sent me the documents ready, and I'm like, okay. So it's now I'm really enjoying, because it's been like 2 years being stuck in France, trying to deal with all this paperwork things, administration that is closed, that keeps you in touch like 6 months.
Oh,
from 6 months. Yeah.
Anyways. That's awesome. So then your art gallery, if I'm in New York, I'd definitely love to come.
Okay, cool.
While I shoot
Heaven Gallery,
that's awesome.
Northport. Yeah.
And if people want to keep updated on it, make sure they follow you on Instagram, right?
Yeah,
great.
Definitely.
Yeah, that's awesome, dude. Thank you so much for coming on.
Thanks to you, Wesam. Honestly, had a great time, and cool meeting you, because that's the first time we also meet.
I know.
Like physically.
I know. I love it like that. You know why? Because it's like, okay, like, are we gonna vibe? Are we not gonna vibe? Is this gonna be awkward?
Hello.
No. Oh my gosh! If you were like that, I'd be like, this is gonna be the best episode ever. So yeah, if you're here permanently, we'll definitely have you back on.
Yeah,
whenever, cool. And then we'll especially have you back on before your art gallery in May.
Yeah.
And this is great. Thanks for coming on, bro.
Cool. Thanks so much, man.
Yeah. Thank you for tuning in. If you enjoyed today's episode, give us a subscribe on YouTube. It goes a long way. Or even share it with someone. We're trying to get those numbers up. We appreciate you. Follow Mathieu at Mathieu
Nozieres.
I forgot it. At Mathieu
even they're
Nozieres.
Going to be like, what? But
we'll put it in the description. And thank you to Alex. Thank you to Peyton for all your hard work you guys do on the show. And thank you to all of our new subscribers and to our old subscribers who have stayed with the show. We appreciate you so much. We're growing. We keep growing, which is awesome. And I'm trying to think. Always remember to listen, think, and then talk. Bye.